on the morning shift.
Anything
could happen.
Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift.
All right, everyone. Welcome to Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift. I'm AJ Walsh. Glad to be here with you. Thankful that you are with us this morning. And it's going to be an interesting show. We are getting started a little bit later this morning. There was about 3 or 4 technical glitches that I had to work out before the show could begin this morning. And it's a miracle that we're even on. And hopefully everything goes well today. That's all I can hope for, is that everything will go well. We're live on CKLU 96.7 FM on the radio. We're also streaming at cklu.ca on the internet. Click on the Radio Player Canada app. You can also download the Radio Player Canada app, take us with you and listen to us anywhere, anytime on your favorite device. Also, video, video streaming at facebook.com/Sudbury News, youtube.com/Sudbury News. And that's where you can also catch the show on demand afterwards. If for some reason you've missed some of the show, you can then catch it later at a later time and catch some of the comments. If you missed some of the comments, I'm not able to read all of them that come up on the screen, but I do my best to get them up after the conversation starts moving on. There's quite a few people been joining us lately. We're grateful for you. So make sure to like, share, subscribe, follow all of our social medias. And mainly, though, comment on the show, because that's what this show is for. It's your conversation on your station. CKLU is the campus and community radio station right here in Greater Sudbury. Been around since 1984, and we're still going thanks to you. So make sure to get to cklu.ca to support us in any way, shape, or form that you can. Hopefully we'll have a good show this morning. We're looking forward to being with you. Lots to cover. It's our special Climate Change Friday. We've designated Fridays to that, and today should not disappoint. We have a lot to cover in that, local news stories, and much more. We'll be back right after the local weather, and we'll see you on the flip side. Stay tuned. And local weather brought to you by sudburyweather.ca. Currently it's minus 11 degrees, and it feels like minus 18. So basically for 3 nights in a row, it felt the same, like about minus 18. Today it's a mix of sun and cloud, wind up to 16 kilometers, so very light wind. High of minus 4. The wind chill will feel like minus 14 this morning, and minus 6 in the afternoon. Tonight, cloudy periods and some light snow. Freezing drizzle beginning late this evening, and a low of minus 6. Wind chill will feel like minus 10 tomorrow. Saturday, cloudy with a 60% chance of freezing drizzle just in time for the Christmas season. A lot of people traveling, so it makes the roads dangerous. So if you're traveling, make sure to take precautions and drive carefully. Risk of freezing drizzle in the afternoon, and the high will be plus 1 tomorrow. But with the wind chill, it'll feel like minus 9 in the morning. Saturday, 60% chance of freezing drizzle, high of 1. Sunday, 3 degrees and cloudy, 60% chance of rain, showers, or flurries now predicted for Christmas Day, high of 4. Tuesday, chance of rain, showers, or flurries, 30% chance that is, high of 1 degree. And then 0 degrees with periods of rain or snow on Wednesday. So that's your Christmas couple days. Christmas and the next couple days after that will just be rain and snow and a mixed bag. And 60%, 30%, and 70% for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And then Thursday, mix of sun and cloud, high of minus 4. So starting to get a little cooler again. Look at your satellite over Northern Ontario. That's taken at about midnight last night. And that's your Sudbury weather, brought to you by SudburyWeather.ca. We'll be back with your comments, news headlines, a deep dive into the state of our climate. Going to be a green Christmas, obviously. Maybe that's some signs that things are warming up, or is it just cyclical? We're not 100% sure. There's probably been green Christmases before, and there'll probably be green Christmases again, and white Christmases too. A mix, just like we've had in the past. But anyways, we'll be back right after this. Stay tuned. Yeah, trying to multitask here today, but we're back and we're here and we're glad to be with you. And I'm glad that you're with us in this Christmas season. A little bit of sports. You got the Sudbury Wolves coming up on Friday, next Friday. And then the Sudbury 5 on the Thursday. So Sudbury 5 kick off their season on Thursday against the London Lightning. And then North Bay Battalion are in the following day with the Sudbury Wolves for a Highway 17 rivalry game. Make sure to get your tickets. You can go to greatersudbury.ca/tickets for those games. Great thing to do with visiting family. Have them come to the arena, experience a whole different experience with basketball than what they're probably used to. And then Sudbury Wolves, where you can, take in a Sudbury Wolves game. Both of them aren't very expensive for a family-friendly day out. And what else are you going to be doing during that time, right, with your family? You got to find some things to do other than just sit around and talk politics and stuff. Anyways, good morning, Judy. Thanks for being with us this morning. Much appreciated. And Marianne, good morning, everyone, from Barrie. Liked and shared as usual. Thank you so much. Monique, good morning, Sudbury, with a smiley emoji. Yes, it is, and a sunshine one at that. And Denise, good morning, everyone. And Leandre is, why do communist liberals, NDPs, drive Canadians into poverty to allow China to pollute our planet? Interesting that you say that, because that's basically the topic of today, climate and how we are going at it as a country. And are we doing anything about it? That'll be our deep dive for a little bit later. Belinda, good morning. May you carry your compassion, understanding, and pursuit of the truth into the new year. Bless you all, my fellow truthers. Merry Christmas. Heart emoji. Much appreciated. Yes, this will be our last show, other than if we just jump on for a special broadcast here and there over the Christmas holidays, depending. I'd love to get all of the close friends that I've had that are integral in getting this show off the ground in the studio and just have a great conversation with all y'all during the holidays. That would be great. So maybe we'll have that at some point. It'll just be a surprise show coming on whenever. It probably won't be at 7:30 in the morning. It might be at 7:30 at night. Who knows? But hopefully we'll be able to do that. Fingers crossed. Blessings from Espanola. Denise. Vin, morning. Appreciate you being on as usual. Monique, happy birthday. Oh, Aaron. Oh, thank you. Yes. I've almost forgot. It is my birthday today. So thank you very much. So, okay. Thank you, everyone, for the happy birthdays. Much appreciated. Yes. Sometimes when you get to about this age, you almost just want to forget it, right? But thanks for reminding me. I appreciate it. Good morning, Sudbury campers. Brian, rise and shine. Who sent me a personal message last night ahead of time wishing me happy birthday? So I really appreciate that, guys. Feeling the love, that's for sure. So maybe I can give some love back today. I do have a Christmas song that I did about, almost 20 years ago now, that I thought I would just share with everybody at some point in the show, because when else am I going to be able to share it, right? And just things aren't working today. I don't know what's going on with the internet and just technology, but things have been really, really not working this morning at all. And even searching for this video it's not coming up where it's very unique. So it's probably no, it's still not coming up. Yeah, that's interesting. So my own Christmas video, which has a very distinct search on it. I'm not able to get it on YouTube. So that's the kind of the morning it's been. And I'm still trying as I'm working on the fly here. And I would just, there, finally. Oh my goodness, after 4 searches. So maybe we'll have that a little bit. Let's look at some of the headlines coming through today. Sudbury.com usually has a great segment in the morning where there are good morning stories to start your day. And because of all the technical things that we had this morning to work on, I'm just now getting to that. So as I'm discovering it, you will be as well. Developer inches forward with a 347 unit downtown seniors building. Wow, this independent living residential development is proceeding in downtown Sudbury, located on land bordering on Brady Street, Van Horn Street, St. Raphael Street, and Lourdes. So we know that area, right? This is phase 1 of an 826 unit residential development City Council approved in 2019. And let's see. So consultant Todd Robinson told Sudbury.com, right now we're working with the city to get through our site plan control agreement, all of the comprehensive studies, reports, inspections, and planning that will lead to the building permit being issued. So the city and mayor's office have been diligent and cooperative and positive to ensure this project succeeds. So that is much needed, obviously, and it's been in the works for quite some time. So it's kind of good to see that going forward. It's much needed. Thank you, everyone, for the birthday wishes. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. And yes, it's everything. I'm used to this time of year. Happy birthday, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. It's all in one. And happy rising, Monique, for sure. And I'm not sure if it was censorship per se, Marianne. It's just one of those days. Technology has been not my friend. Everything that could have went wrong this morning, getting the show ready, has gone wrong. And that's why we came on a bit late this morning. And not a good day to be late because there's lots to do and lots to talk about this morning. So speaking of Christmas, the Edgar Burton Food Drive brings in nearly 100 tons of food. The 36th annual Edgar Burton Christmas Drive was another rousing success, organizers said this week. And they brought in 100 tons of food, both food and monetary donations. Over 110,000 in monetary donations were collected, which nearly half came from the Rainbow District School Board, and over 10,000 came from Valley employees. So congratulations for that food drive. That definitely goes for a good cause, especially at this time with hyperinflation and just the times we're living in. Grocery prices, a housing crisis, you name it. It really comes in as a positive thing. So Vin is saying, does independent mean for profit? Possibly. Or not. I don't know. We'll have to look into that. Marianne says they make it more difficult to search for anything. Okay, yeah, possibly. And Jimmy, thank you for the happy birthday. And yes, we will see you tomorrow. Thank you, my friend. So another headline, New Sudbury Emergency Services Station to reopen in 2024. You remember the fire station that was on Leon? It was closed. And they're looking at reopening it in 2024, thank goodness. And we talked about the Sudbury 5, obviously, that they're set to take on the London Lightning on December the 28th. And then the Wolves will be taking on the North Bay Battalion the following day, both at the Sudbury Arena. And both you should get your tickets for and take your family out, those that are visiting, and treat them to Sudbury, not Saturday night, but Thursday and Friday night. Any headlines coming from Sudbury.news? Per se, you'll get the same headlines that we got from Sudbury.com because it's a news aggregator. Everything aggregates onto Sudbury.news. Sudbury Wolves former family doctor passes away at the age of 69. Jacob or Jake Hollub, remembered as a proud husband, father, and grandfather, and devoted Leafs fan. Condolences go out to his family and friends and those in the community for his passing. Let's see here. CBC reporting, city still negotiating with Sudbury developer that claims Maley Drive was built on its land without permission. Now, this is a juicy story. A Sudbury developer says that $80 million of the $80 million Maley Drive extension was trespassing on its property when it was built in 2016. Dalron Construction complained to the city 3 years ago, seeking $11 million in damage, but the dispute has yet to be settled. Now, if it's anything like any other city dispute, it'll take 20 years or so to get resolved. So good luck for Dalron on that one. This is Sudbury Star reporting, sending Sudbury man back to Sudan is a death sentence, his lawyer says. So for the third time in just over a year, Elay Muhammad avoids a deportation hearing despite his ongoing criminal activity. So for more on that, which sounds like also a juicy story, check out sudburystar.com. And just in the sake of moving on today, because there's lots to cover, I just thought in the spirit of Christmas, I would just share some a Christmas song that I did, about 20 years ago now. And before it starts here, I almost got it on time. Again, the quality of this video is very low, and I apologize for that because I'm not sure when it was uploaded, the quality of YouTube can only be so good. I have to re-upload it, I guess. Good morning, Mike. And good morning, friends, and best wishes to you throughout the holidays and the new year. Thank you very much, Mike Parent. And maybe let's decide to get together, if we can, in the new year, yourself or any other counselors who are wanting to come on the show, and let's talk about some of the new decisions that were made in the budget and things going forward for the new year. Maybe it'll be a New Year show, what we can expect in Sudbury in the new year, and have some questions from listeners and viewers. So without further ado, just a little Merry Christmas to everybody, a little video and a song that I did for Northern Ontario Christmas. I sent it to CBC. They were doing this thing for Northern Ontario Christmas songs. They wanted to get as many Christmas songs from Northern Ontario. So I sent it to them thinking, well, this is a no-brainer. They'll play this one. But I guess they sent me something back saying they can't play it because in the song it says, Merry Christmas to Timmins way up there. And that would have been insulting, or people from Timmins might have been offended that I was referring, being from Sudbury, that Timmins was way up there. So again, this is a viewer discretion, listener discretion advised. If you are from Timmins and you take offense from being way up north, this might offend you. Other than that, Merry Christmas, everyone. And I'll be back right after this. Hopefully this plays normal and doesn't give me a hard time.
Merry Christmas in Sudbury. Merry Christmas from me. Merry Christmas in Timmins way up there, North Bay and Sault Ste. Marie. This is my Christmas song I wrote one silent night. I'll sing to all my friends. I hope I'd sound alright. Drinking eggnog by the fire, singing those songs that take you high. That is what all this means to me. As we sit around the tree. Whoa, Merry Christmas, everyone. Merry Christmas from me. This is my Christmas song I wrote one silent night. I'll sing to all my friends and hope I sound alright. Surrounded by friends and mistletoe, making those angels in the snow. This is the place I wanna be. Merry Christmas, everyone. Merry Christmas from me. Merry Christmas, everyone, everywhere. Merry Christmas from me. Merry Christmas in Sudbury. Merry Christmas from me. Merry Christmas, Timmins way up there, North Bay and Sault Ste. Marie. Merry Christmas.
Yeah, so there it is. And as you can see, the technology again, I just minimize my screen and it just plays the video all over again. You know, just weird things happening today. But yeah, thanks for sitting through that, I guess you can say. I just thought, and thanks, Mike, for wanting to come on in the new year. Much appreciated. We look forward to that. And yes, it's a world where people can get offended, I guess, and there was no offense meant in that song to people in Timmins. It almost just went with the lyrics, I guess you can say, and you have to rhyme some things. But yeah, some funny comments about being from Timmins and not being offended, and yes, different ideology and things like that these days. So thank you very much. Much appreciated for being here to... I looked a little different back then, I have to admit. I definitely looked a little different. No beard and about 20 years younger. No glasses, obviously. And we did that in the City Center Mall. I had a restaurant just down the hall from that. And so we asked the owners if we could do the video inside there. We got a great production team. There was a local video company to come out and video it. And then I got a friend of mine who was going through film school in North Bay at Canadore to edit it and put it all together. And so it was a group effort, and yours truly was singing and writing, but we recorded it at Billy's studio, Easter Island Studio. You may know Billy from being on the show many, many times, and integral of starting this show and helping us to get all of the technology together to make it happen. Anyways, and he plays lead guitar on that as well. So at the end of it, he was not in the video, by the way, but on the recording he was. None of the people in that video were actually on the recording. It's just we had to get a band together for it. And so I got a couple of my employees, drivers. I had a delivery business at the time as well as having a restaurant. And so I got a couple of my drivers, a friend on bass, and the other person on guitar was working in the studio with Billy. So he offered to be in the video as well. So that's the way it works in the big city. So again, let's we're part of our Friday looking into the whole climate change thing, and we have our friend AJWalsh.com right now isn't really there, I don't believe. It used to be my website where I had some music on it and some of my other business things on it, but I don't think it's really doing anything right now. So if anyone goes to visit it, I don't think it does anything. So yeah, at the end of the video, it did have that there. So so our friend Tanner, who has a great podcast, talks about our federal government quite a bit, and he's breaking down Stephen Guilbeault's new announcement that we are going to have no more engines, gas engines, by the year 2035 in Canada, which is a Wow. We'll just let him kind of break that announcement down. He does it a lot better than I can, and we'll be back right after his comments. And hopefully we'll have time to build off of that with some more material that I've put together. We'll be back right after him.
Okay, the maniac is back. I am talking, of course, about Stephen Guilbeault. Today, he's discussing his new EV regulations for Canada. Here's what he said.
Thank you very much, Julie, and thank you, Joe, for that warm welcome. Good afternoon, everyone. Bonjour tout le monde. I want to thank many of my parliamentary colleagues who are here today, including Ministers Tassi and Anand, as well as MPs Francesco Sorbara, Majid Jawari, Rob Oliphant, and Julie. Oh, Julie's not arrived yet, but Julie Jesuit will be with us shortly, I'm told. And as Joe has shown, the atmosphere here at George Brown is electric. What an ideal place to be talking about the transformation underway in Canada.
The transformation is underway in Canada because Guilbeault and his radicals are forcing the transformation to be underway in Canada. We're not given the option. We're not given the choice. Instead, we have to, according to the Liberals, abide by their new rules and regulations to radically change the world to fit their vision, which is, of course, the vision of Antichrist.
Just a few minutes ago, we met with some faculty and students from the Electric Vehicle Technician Program, one of the largest continuing EV technician training programs in Canada. They know electric cars are the future. They're skating to where the puck is going, preparing for careers with good paying jobs. But they're also doing it from a place of concern.
I, too, am concerned about the future. I'm concerned about the future because based on the Liberal government's policies, we won't have a future, or we won't have a future that we want to live in.
About the world they're leaving to the next generation, a world with more frequent and extreme weather, with high cost of living and unsustainable levels of pollution. But the choice they're making with their careers gives us hope. Young people like those studying at George Brown are driving towards the solution we need to build a more sustainable and prosperous future.
The high cost of living, of course, comes from the federal government and their inflationary money printing, high taxation, and other ridiculous policies. And the problem of pollution is again focused in the federal government. The pollution that we need to worry about is the pollution that is spewed from Guilbeault's mouth.
The government of Canada is right here with you. Over the past number of years, we've doubled down on support for clean technologies, helping people with energy-saving home renovations and heat pumps.
Again, those heat pumps are laughable, especially when the temperature dips below zero, which, in Canada, it does. Pretty often, they don't work in sub-zero temperatures. Oil and gas, however, is a cheap, affordable, and abundant source of energy and power that works whether it's plus 30 or minus 30. We also refuse to use the Orwellian term clean energy because it implies that all other forms of energy are not clean. But they are. Look at the difference between a community that has, for example, oil and gas versus one that doesn't. The differences in the cleanliness of each respective community is demonstrable and measurable.
Building a clean electricity grid, putting a cap on the pollution from the oil and gas sector. All of these things means the creation of good-paying jobs while tackling the climate crisis we face.
Wrong. It means the destruction of Canadian society. That's what it means. It means the destruction of our way of life in exchange for this putrid worship of Gaia, even though it means our suffering.
And that's put us on track to meet our climate goals. As part of that strategy, we have a comprehensive plan to build a robust electric vehicle supply chain and supply infrastructure. Today, we're announcing the next step in this plan, the Electric Vehicle Availability Standard that drives Canada towards all new light-duty vehicle sales in Canada to be electric or plug-in hybrid by 2035. This includes the interim goals along the way, beginning with 20% of all new vehicle sales be EVs by 2026.
This is disgustingly socialist. It's intolerably socialist, and we need to do something about it. We can't just sit on our hands. This is asinine. Government is never to involve itself in the market when it plunges its grubby hands in markets, like Guilbeault is plunging his grubby hands in markets, it always leads to inefficiencies, which means our quality of life is lost. It's forfeited. It's exchanged, in this case, for some eco-Marxist ideal. It's ridiculous. It's nonsense. On its own, the market would not tolerate such a transition. The market would not tolerate such a shift. Are Canadian consumers right now lining up in droves to see if they can get the latest electric vehicle? Of course not, because no one wants them. Look at what Ford is doing. They've lost literally billions, not millions, billions of dollars in this failed gambit to see that EVs take the nation by storm. So they're pulling back because they're making what they hope to be rational business decisions, whereas our government is pushing forward. It's ridiculous.
The standard tackles one of the main barriers to people buying EVs, the limited availability and long wait time.
Wrong. Maybe it's that no one wants EVs. Maybe it's that, one, EVs are absurdly expensive, and two, even if they weren't, we'd still choose oil and gas powered vehicles, because there are benefits, believe it or not, to not having to worry about how the vehicle is going to perform in the cold, or how long we have to wait to fill up our vehicles. No, says Guilbeault, there just isn't enough supply. Yeah, right. If that were true, then Ford wouldn't be retreating from their current position of trying to push EVs.
We will do this by ensuring more electric cars come to the Canadian market instead of the US or other markets that have similar targets. It ensures Canadians have access to our fair share of the global supply of these vehicles. Since we started consulting on this, the new electric vehicle availability standard now includes an early credit system to help automakers comply by encouraging them to get more EVs on the market as early as possible and even next year, and to build more charging infrastructure. This will also help Canadians with the cost of living. EVs are quickly reaching cost parity with their gas-powered alternatives, as new model of electric sedans, trucks, SUVs, crossover, and more keep coming on the market. Almost all industry projections show that by the end of the decade at the latest, the purchase price of gas-powered and electric cars will be about the same. The Government of Canada offers purchase incentives to help close the gap on new EVs. Many provinces and territories offer these purchase incentives as well. And once you drive the car off the lot, the saving on fueling and maintenance costs are enormous. For example, let's take the comparison of standard gas-powered hatchback compared to EV's alternative with current market price, like the ones we have here. Over a 10-year span, the gas-powered car costs you over $82,000 during its lifetime, but an electric car would only cost about $50,000. That's over $30,000 in savings for Canadians. That's because the electricity you buy to power your electric vehicle is much cheaper than gasoline and not subject to the volatility of international oil prices.
Let's suppose for a moment that Guilbeault is correct. I'm not saying he is, but let's suppose for the sake of argument he is correct. And it costs, say, $10,000 more to operate a gasoline-powered vehicle versus its direct equivalent in the EV sector. That doesn't mean we choose to buy EVs. There are benefits that accrue to gasoline-powered vehicles that aren't available to EVs. For example, we can drive 700 some kilometers with a gasoline-powered car, and then it takes us 2 minutes to fill up at the pump, and then we can drive another 700 kilometers. Not so with EVs. It doesn't just take a minute to charge them. It doesn't take 2 minutes. It takes hours to charge electric vehicles to their full capacity. And of course, time is money. It's a lot of money that's wasted. What about reliability in cold weather? We like the guarantees of oil and gas powered vehicles. We're uncertain about electric vehicles. All of these benefits that are granted to gasoline powered cars might be, and based on the market, are worth more than $10,000 or whatever it might be. We're still buying gasoline-powered cars over electric vehicles. So Guilbeault's comparison here is absolutely absurd. Or what about the fuel costs? He says it's cheaper to operate an EV compared to a gasoline-powered vehicle. But if we fill up our car for $1 a liter at the pump before taxes, after taxes, it's about what? $1.45, $1.50, $1.55, depending on the province in which we live. A substantial portion of the cost of running a vehicle, a gasoline-powered vehicle, comes through the federal government's taxation. Remember, the Liberals hate the fact that we can drive. They do. Because driving is a brilliant expression of freedom and autonomy. The government despises that. So by introducing and forcing all of us to transition to electric vehicles, the federal government exercises so much more power and control. Think of the new level of control they would have over us, will have over us, watching how often we charge our vehicles, seeing how far our vehicles travel, controlling electrical grids, and so on and so on. It's demonstrably socialist, and we can't allow it to happen in our nation.
If you study the development of the fantasies of very, very dark people, you see that they brood and fantasize in isolation for years. And the fantasies get darker and darker and darker. So they're bitter and resentful to begin with. And then they start fantasizing about, well, what they would want. That can take a sexual end, or it can take a very violent end, or it can take both. And what they're really after is the ultimate in revenge. And on the sexual front, they find a kick in extending the, what would you call it, unacceptability of the fantasy one stage at a time. The famous and extremely attractive sexual serial killer, what was his name? There's a famous photograph of him like this, very attractive man. Do you remember his name?
Ted Bundy.
Anybody? Ted Bundy. Ted Bundy detailed out exactly how his fantasies progressed as he became more and more involved with pornography. And what happens in some sense is that these people who are nursing these terrible fantasies want to stay on the edge of novelty. And so their fantasies get darker and darker and darker as they progress down that road. And so after 1,000 such micro progressions, they end up in exactly the sort of pit that you're describing. And some of that is pure sexual kick because of the novelty. But it's got this sadistic and perverse, vengeful twist. And you could think about it this way. I think it says in the Gospels that, it would be better that a millstone was hung around your neck and that you were cast into the abyss than to do harm to any of God's children, let's say. And that's actually where the perverse delight comes, because the most egregious possible sin, let's say, is the violent sexual abuse of the most innocent possible person. And the perverse novelty kick is highest at exactly that point. And then that just goes from bad to worse. And there's 1,000 or even 10,000 micro decisions that go along with that. There's also a great book called Ordinary Men. This is well worth reading, although it's a bloody catastrophe to read.
Okay, now that video obviously just started playing afterwards, and that's what YouTube or Facebook decided I needed to see after watching the breakdown of Gilbo's announcement that by 2035 we need to have all electric vehicles, basically outlawing any gas-powered engines, right? But if you just take what he was saying about the Ted Bundys of the world and their illusions and whatever, and how they get to where they are with sexual things, let's look at the government and just change the predator aspect to power and wanting absolute power. Everything he was saying can be easily transitioned into that as well. So I had to make some kind of bridge because YouTube just played that automatically right afterwards. Yeah, so let's see. What else did I have here for us today? Because I did have something else. Yeah, and that was right here on Facebook. Let me see if I can get that back. And let's see if I can go to my thing now on here. And Sudbury News, we're going to get this. we're keeping on the topic of the announcement that Guilbeault made. Sudbury News. There it is. And a few comments coming in here. Much appreciated. There we go. I'm going to pass here. So here you have it. Let me see if I can make that. Can you make these things bigger? I have no idea. But here it says the announcement from Guilbeault. Data shows claim that gasoline car ban will help Canadians with the cost of 100%. Okay, I don't know what's going on here and why it is not able to see the whole, to be able to read that. It's cut off. I don't understand that. But anyways, so the net cost to drivers will be run into billions. So that's according to Blacklock and CBC. A very good example of why governments shouldn't get to decide what is disinformation. They can often spread it themselves. This article that forcing Canadians to switch to electric cars will result in increased cost of $54.1 billion. The savings from fuel will be $36.7 billion. Overall increase of cost of $17.4 billion. So Guilbeault's math there, that Tanner was playing his announcement, he didn't cut in and say, well, actually the math shows that there's an increase of $17.4 billion. He said, now if Guilbeault is, what he's saying is correct, and he says, no, I don't agree with what he's saying, but let's just say it was correct, and it was $10,000 a year cheaper for us to operate a electric vehicle. Think of the other factors. You have to wait 12 hours. So you're on a trip and you pull into a parking lot and you need to recharge. Now there's only 3 recharging stations in this restaurant or wherever you are, and they're already having vehicles charging there. And you're on a trip somewhere and you're totally out of energy and you need to reboot or whatever. And you know it's going to take 12 hours for your car to recharge. But you have to wait for other cars to take their, let's say they've already been there for 6 hours. You got to wait 6 hours to get your car to be charging for 12 hours. So now you're 18 hours. Now you got to get a hotel. Stay overnight or maybe sleep in your car in the parking lot. And while you're sleeping, someone else comes and takes the charging station from you. And now you're out of luck. You're like, hey, buddy, I've been waiting here. Well, you were sleeping. I didn't know you were waiting for a charging station, and they charge their car. So now you're waiting 24 hours. You know, like what's the cost for that? Like, does that have a cost to it? Can you know, what does that cost you? So you can't even put that into dollars. So that's what he was saying. Even if it was cheaper, which it's not. Overall, it's $17.4 billion more expensive. And do you think electricity is going to stay at the price it's at? If they can control electricity prices, whatever they want. And so that's one article. Here's another one here. Headline is Eco-Commie, Guilbeault's EV mandate is a deliberate attack on our freedom and prosperity. Communist control freaks like Guilbeault refuse to let the market work and instead use state power to force us to buy what the government decrees. It's the government supposed to protect our rights and freedoms and from external threats. Most common sense people would say no, but that's how the communist control freaks like Stephen Guilbeault see things. For Guilbeault and his fellow communists, which we've come to know on this show that there's a lot of communist policies. So maybe they don't come out and say they're communist, but they're making communist policies, and this goes along with it. Like if you understand what different forms of governance means, right? What is communist? What is fascist? What is, what is democracy? What is dictatorship? all these things. You understand that we are moving more and more towards communism through the policies and in things that our government is doing. So today, Stephen Guilbeault and the Trudeau government, Liberals took another step forward in turning Canada into a communist hellhole. Guilbeault announced that the government is decreeing all cars sold by 2035 will have to be electric. And that's shared by the Coalition of Concerned Manufacturers and Businesses of Canada. They're also saying this is a deliberate attack on our freedom and our prosperity as Canadians. The Liberals are planning to force all of us in a cold weather nation to purchase cars that are far more expensive and far less reliable in the cold. The only thing here is that the polls show the Liberals are on track for a massive defeat, so a new federal government can reverse Guilbeault's communist policies. And that was just from Spencer Fernando. This, I think, is from Global News. The second problem with the EV mandate is that dealers don't control the electricity grid. In parallel with the mandate, the federal government is also pushing clean electricity regulations, which will severely strain utilities' ability to meet additional demand. And it's not just capacity that matters, it's the ability to distribute additional power into millions of homes. In many neighborhoods and small towns, that distribution capacity does not exist and will be very expensive to add. Now, we know through the United Nations plans for Agenda 21 and Agenda 30, 21 meaning the century 21, and 2030 meaning the actual year 2030, that they don't expect people to live in rural areas anyways. They want everybody in cities, metropolitan areas where everything's easily managed. Now, the term 15-minute city is part of that kind of thing, where you just live in a really overpopulated, densely populated city where everything is smart and everything is tracked and digital currency and electric cars, and you don't travel very far anyway. So when I said the scenario, you're on a long trip, they don't want you to take long trips. There's no reason to take long trips. And you have to get permission as well to leave that city before you leave. And now all this sounds like, where are you getting this from? AJ, you just all you have to do is go to the UN's 2030 agenda, and they have social development goals, many of them. I forget how many they have, but each goal kind of sets out what they want to do. And this is in line. So you wonder, why is Canada doing this? Why are they making these policies? Well, it's to reach those United Nations goals, those social development goals that were made from unelected people, international unelected people that got together and say, how do we want our world to be, right? So that's that. And that's, you just wonder what the heck. So they want to make, our grid can't handle what they're saying. So let's see the plan. Like how, so if we see the plan from our government, they won't be able to really show it to us because it'll show it's in line with the UN's goals, and it's not our own. Now we make the policies. People wonder, why are they doing this? Why are they doing that? That doesn't make any sense. We can't handle, the grid can't handle it. I'm living in Blind River or wherever. I can't charge my EV. Everyone can't drive vehicles. But then you read the United Nations goals for the world and you're like, okay, they don't want me to be living in a rural area. They don't want everyone to have cars. These cars are very expensive. It's an attack on the middle class again, and people of lower income levels, they can't afford these cars. They can't afford that. It's just impossible. It's just for the elite, I guess. That's what I'm, surmising. So thanks for being with us, everyone. It'll be the last show until the new year. I did have something else I was going to play, but didn't have any time for that. And thanks for sharing the link, Trevor. As usual, we appreciate all of your links. Appreciate all your comments, everyone. And it really adds to the discussion as we try and make sense of the world that we are living in, as confusing as it is. Merry Christmas to everybody. Happy New Year, all of that stuff. Prosperity, even if the world looks like it's doom and gloom, in your particular sphere of influence, you can you decide how happy you want to be, and help others to be happy as well. So thank you very much, Leon. I appreciate that. Have a great day, everyone. Stay tuned now for Earshot Daily, a special Christmas Earshot Daily. And we'll be back in the new year. And maybe before that for a special Sudbury News Talk chat with a panel here in the studio and whoever else wants to join with us. So I'm hoping to do that, but I don't want to say for sure that we can. So stay tuned now for Earshot Daily. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year, everyone. Thanks. And we'll see you as soon as we can. Ciao.
This is Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift.